Good morning, 4th and 5th graders. It's a great day. How's your day? Bible, 100% true and accurate. Christianity is a relationship with Jesus. It is not a club. This is the direction we're going today. Christians, you guys are different from the rest of the world. That's a good thing. God created the heavens and the earth. Evolution doesn't make any sense. Today, 2 questions. What is faith? And what is God like? First of all, faith is the assurance, the confident assurance of what we have our hope in. This is not a wish. What we have our hope in is true and reliable to the point that we act on that faith. This is Hebrews 11. Do you remember earlier in the year we talked about Abraham? He is known for his faith. 3 examples. He was in a very comfortable place. The town was called Ur, U-R, and it was a trade center. Big homes. They had several rooms, we're told. Some were even plastered, so he probably lived a very comfortable life in Ur, probably family around and so on. God said one day, I want you to pack your stuff, and you're going. And Abraham probably said, where am I going? And he said, just trust me, just pack your stuff up and we're taking off. So he believed him, he packed his stuff and took off. Second example, he promised Abraham many descendants. He promised him land, the land of Canaan, and he said this land will be belonging to your offspring forever, and he believed that. So he had faith in those statements. Genesis 22, 5 and 8, he was told to sacrifice his only son, Isaac. And he said, okay, whatever you say. A couple of points in there. When he was on his way to Mount Moriah, he said to his servants that were up there, he said, we will go and sacrifice and we will return. Meaning something's going to happen. Somehow, maybe Isaac's going to come back to life. He also had a question from Isaac. And Isaac said, where is the sacrifice? And Abraham said, God will provide a sacrifice. So he had enough faith to believe that God would take care of him and take care of Isaac up there as well. So Abraham is known for his faith. We go to Hebrews 11, where we read what faith is, and it mentions a total of 15 people in the Old Testament that had faith like Abraham. He did Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Abel, Enoch, and Noah, and Moses, and others up to 15. He also said the prophets were included in this. And then later on, 11:39, he says, all these people we have mentioned received God's approval because of their faith. Here's the best news. This is from Galatians 3, 6-9. Abraham believed God, so God declared him righteous because of his faith. The real children of Abraham then are those who put their faith in God. What's more, scriptures looked forward to this time when God would accept the Gentiles too. That's you and me. On the basis of their faith, God promised this good news to Abraham long ago when he said, all the nations will be blessed through you. And so it is. All who put their faith in Christ share the same blessings as Abraham received because of his faith. So we can also be declared righteous with our faith. So If we put our faith in Jesus, we'll be declared righteous. We'll have a clean slate forever. We're connected with Jesus, no longer separated from Jesus. Examples of the faith. Okay. John 3:16. You know it by heart. The key word is believe. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him will not perish but have everlasting life. Okay, the word believe is believe in. Believe, it's not just believing the story. It's believing in, having trust in, relying on, clinging to, having faith in, having a relationship with Jesus. Couple of examples. I remember Pastor Charles relating an experience with Christopher, his son, when he was small, probably 5 or 6 years old, walking down a street, and they came to a busy intersection, and Christopher stopped all at once and looked at Charles and put his hand up. And basically, without a word, he was saying, I'm not going to do this without you. I'm not going to cross this street without you. I can't do it without you. So in faith, Christopher was showing his faith in Charles to get him across the street safely. Here's another example of faith. I don't know if you've ever been to Niagara Falls. This is in upstate New York on the Canadian border. Beautiful falls. Tons and tons of water, thundering water, huge falls. Great sight to see. Over 200 years ago, there were daredevils. You know what a daredevil is, okay? And you've never acted like that before. This was Harry Bellini, and he would string a cable across Niagara Falls and walk across that cable. And I would imagine the people watching him would take a guess. Is he going to make it? Is he not going to make it? They might even take bets on it. Okay, here is Stephen Pure. He did the same thing. He didn't make it. He did not make it across. So that's not so good. Okay, then we have Clifford Calvary. And his stunt was to go across the cable with a wheelbarrow all the way across the falls. So an example of faith might be, would you have enough faith in Clifford Calvary that you would get in that wheelbarrow? And if he said, okay, I want you to stay loose, don't grab the sides, because we may both go over, don't stiffen up. He said, just let me do it, I'll be in control, and we'll make it. Okay, now your answer will probably be, heck no, I'm not doing that. Now, what if Jesus was holding the wheelbarrow? Then you might shake your head. So, a couple examples on what faith really is. You have so much faith that you act on that faith. Okay. What is God like? Romans 8:15. For you have not received a spirit of slavery leading to fear. Kind of like the Old Testament law we talked about last week. Again, like the law, but you have received a spirit of adoption as sons, by which we cry out, Abba, Father. Okay, the Abba would mean daddy, like adopted into his family. Okay, examples. Picture an orphanage with a headmaster and lots of kids, no parents, just a headmaster with lots of rules. So why would you obey the rules? And it's probably out of fear. So you stay out of trouble. You wanna do what's right. You don't want a spanking. You don't want time out. But the reason you would obey in the orphanage would be basically to stay out of trouble. You would obey because you have to. Okay, picture a real mom and dad who may have adopted one of the kids from the orphanage, or you're a real mom or dad. They love us, they spend time with us, they read to us, they'll listen to us, they know what we say is important, they protect us, we're comfortable at home, we're not afraid. They give us food that we like sometimes, and they discipline us when we get out of line to help us become a better person. So why would you obey a mom and dad like that? And the answer would be, we would want to. We wouldn't want to disappoint them or let them down. But in gratitude, saying thanks, I don't want to disappoint you. I really, really would like to please you. So this is what our God is like. We've been adopted into his family like a real mom and dad, and he wants a relationship with us, and he speaks through us through his Holy Spirit. It's not a list of rules like the Old Testament, like a real mom and dad. This is a favorite that we do this time of year. It's called Just the Way You Are. It's by Max Lucado. And in this, there are several lessons, good lessons. I have a favorite. And when we get to the end, let me know your favorite in the story. A long time ago, in a land much like your own, there was a village. And in the village was 5 orphans, a lonely family of fatherless children. And they had banded together against the cold. One day, the king learned of their misfortune. Who do you think the king is? Okay, you got it. Represented in this story. He decided to adopt them. He announced that he would be their father and would come for them soon. When the children learned that they had a new father and their father was the king and the king was coming to visit, they went wild with excitement. When the people of the village learned that the children had a father and their father was the king and the king was coming to the village, they were excited as well. They went to see the children and told them what to do. You need to impress the king, they explained. Only those with great gifts to give will be allowed to live in his castle. The people didn't know the king. They just thought that all kings wanted to be impressed. So the children began preparing gifts to offer the king. They worked long and hard to be sure the king would approve. One of the children, who knew how to carve with a knife, decided to give the king a wonderful work of wooden art. He set his knife against the soft bark of the elm and whittled. The small blocks of wood came alive with the eyes of a sparrow or the nose of a horse. His sister decided to present the king with a painting that captured the beauty of the heavens, a painting worthy to hang in his castle. Another sister chose music as her way to impress the king. For long hours, he practiced with her voice and mandolin. Village people would stop at her window and listen as her music took wings and soared. Yet another child set out to turn the king's head with his wisdom. Late hours would find his candle lit and his books open, geography, math, chemistry. The breadth of his study was matched only by the depth of his desire. Surely a king would appreciate all his knowledge. But there was one sister who had nothing to offer. Her hand was clumsy with a knife, her fingers stiff with a brush. When the girl opened her mouth to sing, the sound was hoarse. She wasn't much of a reader. She believed she had no talent, and so she believed she had no gift. All she had to offer was her heart, for her heart was good. She spent her time at the city gates watching the people come and go. She would earn pennies to buy food for her brothers and sisters by grooming people's horses or feeding their animals. She was a simple, stable girl, but she had a good heart. She knew the beggars by name. She took time to pet each dog. She welcomed the travelers and greeters and strangers. How was your journey? She would ask. Tell me what you learned on your visit. How is your husband? Do you enjoy your new work? She was full of questions. People, because of her heart was big and she cared about people. They were all the same to her, the beggars and the rich. She cared for all of them just the way they were. But since the little girl had no talent, no gift, she was afraid that the king would be disappointed. She remembered the villagers' advice and set her mind about task of making a gift for the king. She took a small knife and went to her brother the carver. Would you teach me to carve? He asked. Sorry, the young craftsman responded, looking up. I have much work to do. I haven't time for you. The king is coming, you know. The girl put the knife away and picked up a brush. She went to her sister, the artist. She found her on a hill painting a sunset on a canvas. You paint so beautifully, said the girl who had no gift but a big heart. I know, the painter asked. Could you share the gift with me? Not now, the sister responded, with her eyes on her palette. The king is coming, you know. The girl with no gift then remembered her other sister, the one with the song. She will help me, she said. When she arrived at her sister's house, she found a crowd of people waiting to listen to her sister sing. Sister, she called. Sister, I've come to listen and learn, but her sister couldn't hear. The noise of the applause was too loud. With a heavy heart, the girl turned and walked away. She remembered her other brother. She took a book with small words and big letters and went to see him. I have nothing to offer the king, she said. Could you teach me to read so that I might show him my wisdom? The young sage-to-be didn't speak. He was lost in thought. The child with no gift spoke again. Can you help me? I have no talent. Go away, said the scholar, scarcely moving his eyes from the text. Can't you see I'm preparing myself for the coming of the king? And so the girl went away sadly. She had nothing to give. She returned to her place at the city gates and took up her task of caring for people's animals. After some days, a man in merchant's clothes came to the small town. Can you feed my donkey? He asked the girls. The orphan jumped to her feet and looked into the brown face of the one who had traveled far. His skin was leathery from the sun, and his eyes were deep. His kind smile warmed the girl's heart. Who do you think the man was? Right. That I can, she answered eagerly, leading the animal to the trough. Trust me, when you return, he will be groomed and fed. Tell me, he asked, as the donkey drank, have you come to stay? And the man said, only for a while. I'm looking for someone. Are you weary from your journey? She asked. He said, yes, I am. Would you like to sit and rest? The girl motioned to a bench near the wall. The tall man sat on the bench, leaned against the wall, closed his eyes, and slept. After a few minutes, he awoke and found the girl sitting at his feet, watching his face. She was embarrassed that he had caught her staring. She turned away. Have you been sitting long? And the girl said, yes. What do you seek? Nothing. You seem to be a kind man with a peaceful heart. It's good to be near you. The man smiled and stroked his beard. You are a wise girl, he said. When I return, we will visit more. The man did return quite soon. Did you find the ones you were seeking? The girl asked. I found them, but they were too busy for me. What do you mean? The first one I came to see was a woodsmith rushing to complete a project. He told me to return tomorrow. Another was an artist. I saw her sitting on an hillside, but the people below said she did not want to be disturbed. The other was a musician. I sat with the others and listened to her music. When I asked to talk with her, she said she had no time. The other I saw had left. He had moved to the city and gone to school. Her eyes widened as she realized who the man was. "But you don't look like a king," she gasped. And the man said, "I try not to," he explained. "Being a king can be lonely. People act strangely around me. They ask for favors. They try to impress me. They bring me all their complaints. But isn't that what a king is for?" asked the girl. "Certainly," he responded. "But there are times when I just want to be with my people. There are times when I want to talk with my people, to hear about their day, to laugh a bit, to cry some. There are times when I just want to be their father." Is that why you adopted the children? That's why. Adults think they have to impress me. Children don't. They just want to talk to me. They know that I love them just the way they are. But my brothers and sisters were too busy. They were, he said. "But I'll come back. Maybe they'll have more time another day." The girl hesitated. "Sir, what about me? I have no gift, but I would like to be your child." The king smiled. "My dear, you gave me the best gift of all. You gave me your heart, your kindness, your time, your love. Of course you'll be my child. I love you just the way you are." So it happened that the children with many talents but no time missed the visit of the king, while the girl whose only gift, was the gift of her heart became the child of the king. Okay. Lessons. I have some favorites out of there. Sometimes people are too busy for him. That could be a lesson. The second one, people don't have to be good enough to be accepted by the king. Another one could be, you don't have to impress the king. He accepts you just like you are. And the fourth one, let me read from the page that I like the best. "And the little girl said, 'You don't look like a king. I try not to. Being a king can be lonely. People act strangely around me. They ask for favors. They try to impress me. They bring me all their complaints. But isn't that what a king is for?' asked the girl. "Certainly," responded the king. "But there are times I just want to be with my people. There are times when I want to talk with my people, to hear about their day, to laugh a bit, to cry some. There are times when I just want to be their father." That's my favorite out of the whole thing. And this is tying in with a relationship. We've been adopted into his family, and the king accepts us just the way we are. Good lessons out of here. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.